Hear me out. I've used most of the Lumix cameras. In fact, my whole channel is based on helping you master Lumix cameras. And I opened up the G9ii II, thanks to Lumix, not sponsored. And I knew exactly what this camera was gonna be perfect for. And hands down, the G9ii II is the best mirrorless camera option for traveling. I've got 5 reasons why you'll wanna toss the G9ii II in your camera bag the next time you take a trip. If you don't know me, my name is Caleb, and I've got a ton of content on this channel about Lumix cameras. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Size. Have you ever been prepping for a trip and you're like, what camera should I take? What lenses should I take? Oh, I don't have room for this. Is that everything? Do I need to take my drone? Should I take a telephoto? In my opinion, the G9ii II is perfect for traveling, and that's mostly because it's a micro four thirds camera. And micro four thirds refers to the sensor size. So you have full frame cameras, you have APS-C crop cameras, and then you have micro four thirds cameras. And what that means is that your lenses are gonna be a lot smaller. So basically what happens with a micro four thirds sensor like this is that it doubles the focal length of your lenses. So this lens right here is a 12 to 35. But when you double that focal length on the micro four thirds sensor, that becomes a 24 to 70. Let me tell you something, this lens is not very big. And usually you refer to the 24 to 70 lens as kind of your all around everyday style lens. So when you put that on the G9ii II on this micro four thirds sensor, the 12 to 35, this is your 24 to 70 setup. And if you just look at that, it's tiny. So your whole camera footprint is gonna be a lot smaller. And you'd have plenty of room to pack something like a 25 millimeter, which would turn into your 50 millimeter on the micro four thirds sensor. And you can fit a lot more of these in your camera bag than you can any full frame lenses. But even though the setup is small, the camera still has a great feel to it. And it's nothing like a little point and shoot camera. And on this camera, Lumix fit a ton of stuff. Dual card slots, so you'll never run out of record space. And you have a flip out screen if you want to do different angles or go selfie mode. And then you have a USB-C, HDMI, headphone jack, and a mic jack on this side over here. So the size of this setup is going to be great for traveling. Image quality. The image quality on the G9ii II is definitely something that you're not gonna have to worry about. This thing is gonna be next level for your travel photos and videos, and it's gonna blow your little point and shoot camera totally out of the water. The Lumix G9ii II has a 25.2 megapixel micro four thirds sensor that we talked about earlier that's gonna allow you to take super high quality, crisp photos. But one of the greatest things about this too is gonna allow you to take some pro level style video. It's got amazing 4K options and even allows you to shoot slow motion up to 120 frames per second in 4K. And it's got some other features on here that's gonna make you feel like you're a pro videographer. But you don't need to be a pro to learn how to use them. Some tools like the luminance spot meter and the waveform that will help you get perfect exposure every time you shoot. And then also you can set it up for when you hit record, it'll put a red frame around the monitor on the back so that you know that you are definitely recording. How many times have you hit the record button and you totally did not get the shot? So having that red frame indicator definitely lets you know if you're actually recording. The G9ii II also has some great color in the standard or natural color profiles, or if you want the best quality, highest dynamic range of your image, it comes with Vlog fully installed. And it takes a little bit to learn and edit Vlog, but if you want the most out of these cameras, the log profile is the way to go. Stabilization. Well, when you travel, you're definitely not gonna have to carry any type of gimbal with the G9ii II. It has some of the best image stabilization on the market right now. It has built-in 5-axis stabilization, and combined with a stabilized lens for the dual IS, you're gonna get 8 stops of image stabilization with the G9ii II. And what that means is that you can walk with this and it's gonna be a fully stable shot. There's a new active image stabilization built into the G9ii II that's gonna correct camera shake while you're actively moving. This thing is just blowing my mind. And the E-stabilization built in can even correct some running situations where you're running with the camera. So there's no need to carry any type of gimbal with you when you travel with the G9ii II. Autofocus. The G9ii II is the first G-series camera from Lumix to have the new phase hybrid autofocus system. It has 779 phase detection points, so really you're covered when it comes to autofocus. A lot of times when you're traveling, there's quick moments where you need to bust out the camera, get some video of your kids running around, so you don't have to sit there and miss the shot trying to find focus. You know, with the autofocus system, this new hybrid phase detect autofocus system, that whatever you're filming or taking photos of, it'll be in focus. And for any travel vloggers out there, you know you're gonna be in focus every time when you turn that camera to talk to it. Price. One of the most exciting things about the G9ii II is the price, the value that you get for the price that you're paying. The body by itself is going to come in around $1,900. You're going to get a ton of pro features with that investment. There are some bundle packages with the 12 to 35 millimeter and the G9 II, which will come in around $2,700. I think the investment of the G9 II and the 12 to 35 millimeter f2.8 is going to cover you for years while traveling. I think the G9 II is a great entry-level camera, but it's a camera that you can grow into as you start to learn some of these different tools that it offers, some of these pro-level tools that it offers. Combined with the autofocus, and Lumix is very good with firmware updates, this camera is going to cover you for many, many years of traveling. I definitely think the price for this camera and the tools that you get, I think it's worth it. Now I'm going to give you a bonus reason why I think the G9 II is one of the best mirrorless travel cameras right now. And that bonus reason is that this setup right here is fully weather sealed. So whatever conditions you find yourself in traveling, whether you're on the beach with sand, whether you're on a boat with splashing water, or if you're in any type of harsh weather conditions, those conditions are not going to affect the Lumix G9 II. Now, I don't think this video would be complete if we don't talk about some of the drawbacks that the G9 II has. The first drawback is that because it is a micro four thirds sensor, it might not be the best in some low light situations. If it's totally dark, it's not gonna be good. If there is light in the scene that you're shooting, it's gonna be totally fine. But in some situations, the low light is not gonna perform very well on this micro four thirds sensor of the G9 II. Another drawback is that with some of these pro level features that you have on this camera, if you're just starting out, some of the files might just be a little too much. They might just be a little bit different or a little bit heftier files than what you're used to using. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a computer that can handle some of those files, and honestly, most computers right now definitely can. And then finally, another drawback that I have that you might just wanna be aware of is some of the lens selection. I've been talking a lot about this 12 to 35 because that would be kind of the standard 24 to 70 millimeter. But sometimes some of these lenses, these micro four thirds lenses, can get a little pricey. But the great thing about the micro four thirds sensor is that you can actually adapt a lot of different style lenses like Canon lenses or Nikon lenses, Sigma lenses. You can actually adapt those to this micro four thirds sensor with different adapters. And I'm not gonna go in depth a ton about the different lenses in this video, but you just wanna be aware of the type of lenses that you can put on the G9 II. But again, I think the Lumix G9 II is the best mirrorless travel camera this year. And if you have any questions about this camera, let me know down in the comments and we can get a conversation started down there. Lumix, thank you for sending me the G9 II. I'm excited to use it more. And if you're watching this and remember a little bit ago, I talked about some of those pro tools that you can use to get perfect exposure. It's a different camera, but the same tools are in the G9 II. And if you want to check out that, how to get perfect exposure every single time with your Lumix camera, check out this video that's popping up on your screen right here, and I'll see you over there.